he's hurt guys and he's done damage, and they certainly feel his power. But one thing, generally, guys don't spar with Artur more than 2 rounds at a time. Okay. So.
Boxing fans, we are here in Riyadh. It is fight week. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. With me, I've got coach, I've got former fighter, John Scully. First of all, John, talk to me about Riyadh. How is this? How's this week gone for you so far?
It's extremely hot. It's, that's my first thing that I can say. It's very hot, but I get used to it. I like it. I like the area. I love the hotel. Is awesome. It's beautiful. We've got the mall next door, great restaurants in the area. So yeah, people are great. People are very friendly and helpful. I like it a lot.
I do want to go back a good couple of years. Talk to me about you as a fighter.
Well, when I was an amateur, I tried out for the 1988 Olympic team. I won a bronze medal at the Olympic trials. When I turned professional in 1988, I was ranked number 4 in the United States as a middleweight. Went pro, fought for 13 years, had 49 fights. I fought Michael Nunn, I fought Henry Maskey, I fought Graziano Racchiani, Billy Bridges, Art Bayless, some good fighters, and fought for the world title, and did all right for myself, I guess.
And then obviously you become a coach,
right.
And I do want to know, how did you sort of get into this relationship with Artur Beterbiev, because I know he's been out in Montreal with Mark Ramsey. At what point did you guys join forces?
I was called in the beginning of 2016 by Mark Ramsey, who I knew previously because I had actually sparred with John Pascal when he was training John, so he knew me. And Russ Anber, who's a cut man and trainer out of Montreal, owns Rival Products, and he suggested me to Mark as well. So they brought me in. I guess they wanted somebody on the team that had a level of pro experience, and that was me. And I came in the beginning of 2016, and Artur and I hit it off right away, and I've been there ever since.
Nice. Let's talk about Artur and some of his highlights. And I asked Mark Ramsey the same question. I go, was Alexander Vosdik the fight where all the pieces of the jigsaw fell together and you felt like you had got a complete fighter in Artur Beterbiev?
That was obviously a great performance, against a high-level guy. To me, I thought his last fight, when he fought Callum in Quebec City, I told Artur after that fight, I said, you did things in that fight that I've never seen you do before. A couple little things. And I thought he really put it together. I think against Marcus Brown, he put it together. Against Gavadzik, he really put it together. Against Callum, he put it together. He's had some great performances for sure.
And I do want to sort of get some stories from you in regards to, there's this notion out there that the sparring partners that come into Artur Beterbiev camp get hospitalized or get injured. Talk to me about that.
I mean, it's an exaggeration. You used to hear that with Tyson, and they're sending guys to the emergency room twice a week, and he's breaking noses and everything. The guys, he's hurt guys and he's done damage, and they certainly feel his power. But one thing, generally, guys don't spar with Artur more than 2 rounds at a time. Okay. So, if you box with him 5-6 rounds, then you're going to start to get tired. Then he's going to start doing damage. But we take them out before that happens. So, like I said, he's hurt guys, but nobody that I remember, they didn't have to go to the hospital or anything,
Let's say, okay, fair enough. Because that was a notion out there. There has been a narrative out there that he hospitalizes sparring partners. I have spoken to a few of his sparring partners, actually, who came back to the UK and said, this guy is different power.
Yeah.
Talk to me about his power, though. From when you got with him in 2016 to 2024, where we are now, right. Have you seen a difference of power? I've seen a difference, because sometimes a punch is different. Sometimes a third, sometimes it breaks through. Has his power changed in these 8 years that you've seen him?
I think, realistically, his power is the same. But I think he's delivering punches better.
Okay.
He's a shorter puncher, a little bit more compact. I think his body punching is much more effective. He always hit hard. And he hits. Part of hitting hard is having good technique. There's guys out in the street that don't even box, and they can hit really, really hard, and they don't even know what they're doing. You know what I mean? But if you taught them technique, their punching power would increase. And so Artur's definitely, as a pro, and he's learning how to fight as a pro and be more economical with his punches and more, sharper with his punches. He's definitely improved, but I don't think his power improved. I think his technique has improved.
A lot's been made, and especially from our side, from the US and the UK, of Dmitry Bivol style, the Soviet style, the fluidity in the feet and the hands. I spoke to Mark Ramsey about this. I said, Artur, how much of this has he seen? And he said he's seen it throughout his life. In that
Right.
says, is that what he sees it as a normal style for him? Because for other fighters or for other people, they haven't seen much of this style before.
Right. Well, I can remember when I was an amateur, you're always keeping track of the international scene, and I didn't look forward to fighting any Russians or even like Henry Mosky in Germany, West Germany, because of that straight up style, and it's in and out, and it's very disciplined. It's it's a tough style to deal with. But Artur, he fought hundreds of those guys in his career, hundreds of them.
Talk to me then. What sort of scenarios do you feel like? Actually, first of all, I do want to ask you about the fight against Anthony Yarde in London.
Yeah.
In that fight, he did get hit a few times, and obviously he turned the tide round in the way that he does, cuts off the ring perfectly,
Right.
and broke down Anthony Yarde. Plaudits to Anthony Yarde as well. It was a valiant performance. But in that fight, a lot of people said Artur does get hit quite a bit. Have you guys looked at that and seen that as a point that you needed to work on?
I mean, honestly, I don't see him getting hit a lot. I mean, he's a professional fighter. All professional fighters get hit. Like, it wouldn't be a pro fight if they weren't getting hit. Unless you're Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Cassius Clay, they didn't get hit a lot. But every pro fighter gets hit. I think it's kind of exaggerated with Artur. Like, every time he gets hit, they go, "Oh, see, I told you, he's got no defense." I think his defense is underrated. I think he negates a lot of the power. And if you remember, like, he got hit with good shots, but Yarde got hit with good shots too. And Artur walked through him and, stayed composed and was a true professional, and he won.
I do want to talk to you about Dmitry Bivol. There's been things surfacing on the internet that possibly he's carrying injuries, and this was quotes by an old partner of his, but who has put stuff on social media saying that possibly Bivol carries certain injuries. I am actually just going to pull it up. 1 second.
I know his wife was saying
that. She said that he's had a stress fracture of the vertebrae. Hands have been operated on, not just once, but one elbow for sure. He has very sore knees. I'm sure you've seen the quotes, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys have anticipated in relation to this fight, or is this something that you guys already know?
I mean, we heard about it, but I'll be honest, like with Artur doesn't go on the internet. I don't think he cares, Artur, to me, seems like the type of guy, he wouldn't even pay attention to that because he wouldn't know if it was true or not.
As a team, as you guys.
Yeah, I heard it, but Artur always trains as hard as he can for everybody, no matter who he fights. So it's not like we're not training as hard because we think we already have a built-in advantage. He's doing the same thing he always does, and we've never really discussed it. I mean, when it came out, I mentioned it, and everybody was, it's crazy, and then we never really talked about it after that.
What sort of scenarios do you see playing out in this fight between two elite operators?
Right. I think it's similar to some of the fights like Marcus Brown fight, Gavadzik fight, where the opponent has some success early, until Artur gets his range and his rhythm and all that type of thing. I could see that happening. I could see the fight being difficult. But I think we have some advantages that really are important. One being Dmitry never fights on the inside. So it's not that he's not good on the inside, it's just that he never does it. He does not have an inside game. You know, it's going to be hard to beat Artur if you don't have an inside game. If you've never been there and you don't even know what you're doing on the inside, that's going to be a tough route to take. So I think that's in our favor. And you know, he's a good boxer. He's a very good boxer, but to be able to do that 12 rounds, you know, and keep Artur away. That's hard to do. And one thing that I noticed, and a lot of people haven't really noticed this, but if you remember when he fought Joe Smith, when Dmitry did, Dmitry got caught at the end of one of the rounds. I think it was like the 6th round, 7th round, and he was hurt. Like, I don't know if people noticed it. He was hurt. He was really hurt. And he actually, on his way back to the corner, he had to grab the top rope to kind of steady himself. Now, if there was 30 seconds left instead of 3 seconds left in that round, we might not even be here. You know, Joe Smith might end that fight. So I think, you know, if we get in that position where we catch him and hurt him like that, you know, I'm going to feel pretty good about our chances that the fight's going to end within a few seconds of that moment.
Actually, I do want to talk about Artur in the gym, because I was talking to Mark Ramsey yesterday or the day before, and we spoke about Christian Mbili as well. Mark said something that was quite interesting. He said that Artur doesn't want to be the captain of the gym, but he looks like, you know, people look up to him like the captain of the gym, like the main man. So because Artur's so regimented, so in such a routine, and he's so disciplined, that rubs onto other fighters like Christian.
For sure.
Do you see that in the gym? Do you see him? People looking up to him as the main guy and trying to copy his routine, trying to just copy his regimen? Yeah,
for sure. You can't help but be influenced. If he's in your gym, he's obviously the top dog. Everybody knows that. You're obviously going to want to be like the top dog, and they see his success. They see, you know, and Christian is similar to Artur, you know, in that he gets stronger as he goes, and he digs down deep, and you know, fighting Christian in the 12 rounds is going to be very hard, even for Canelo. It's going to be hard to keep Christian off, and then certainly to slow him down. So I'm sure he's rubbed off on Christian for sure.
Cool, John. I do appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
It is going to be a busy week. I know we've got the press conference and the weigh-in and then fight night. So it seems like we've got good few days before fight night. Good luck with everything for this week, for the team, for yourself and Artur. And no doubt we'll speak to you after fight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.